Do you like light novels? Well, this is a light novel you don't want to miss. Join me as we have a look at Boogiepop and Others. That Man and His Merch. Hello and welcome to That Man. That is me merchandise, and today we are talking about a light novel. That is Boogiepop and Others. Now this is Boogiepop Volume 1 of the almost legendary Boogiepop Phantom franchise. It is a title that I've heard of, but I never really got into reading. And it was when I wanted to start talking a little bit more about light novels that I was recommended check out Boogiepop. To give you an idea about the story, it's a high school. It's one of those high school stories. However, there's talk about a phantom that appears every now and again. He takes the form of a young man, or perhaps a young girl. And in these stories, we discover the Boogiepop Phantom, and it's kind of like a thriller. It's kind of like a mystery with also a little bit of horror elements in it. It's not your usual isekai title, and if you like titles such as Kizumonogatari, you might get into this because it's one of those ones that makes you think a little bit more. Now, what I loved about this is that it is a lot of small standalone stories, all which combine to form one gigantic narrative. And we see in other series where we see a lot of these characters where they're introduced and they're not really kind of focused on. It's just like, oh, there's Tim. Oh, what's Tim doing? I don't know, he's a blacksmith or something. Every single character that is introduced in Boogiepop and Others is integral to the plot. And we see from their point of view that things aren't always the same. For example, some people might think that Boogiepop is a hero for all. Other people might think that Boogiepop is a sinister being. And it's not until when people start going missing, things start happening, mysterious people start appearing, that's when Boogiepop Phantom starts taking off. Now, the stories are all self-contained. You could probably read most of these by themselves, and each of them focus on a different character. For example, we get the guy who's just going out with a girl who turns into Boogiepop, or Boogie, or whichever you want to call it, and he's just kind of struggling to find this whole balance between it, because Boogie starts appearing more and more often, and he starts considering Boogie as a friend, until Boogie then needs to go away because his mission is over. To the other girl who looks like an absolute brute of a girl, who's always a delinquent, is always getting taken away from school and stuff like that. However, she's actually got an underground resistance, and she's the one who's pulling the strings and to try and fight this evil being. To a homeless man who has a lot more important things going on than you might first think. And it just shows how a lot of characters, it shows how no matter how insignificant you may think you are integral to somebody else's story. And that's what I absolutely loved about it. We had one character who was kind of like, oh, we didn't really hear much about her, and then we just say little bits. And then as the story went on, we kind of found out that she's probably the most important character in the entire novel. We find out about this other girl who's just like, she's a hall man and she's trying to keep the peace, and she's just like, she ends up becoming a huge important character. And that's what I love. Every single character in this was important. Every single character was developed, and I felt I could remember every single character. And a lot of series don't manage to do that. A lot of series don't manage to kind of pull that out, and it's one that I really felt was interesting. The narrative, the way the story flowed was absolutely fantastic, and I was gripped. I was so excited to come in on a night and read more about Boogiepop and more about what's going on in this world, because it's a strange world. It's one that we kind of don't know what's going on. There's more than meets the eye. There's an evil creature that's killing people, and we don't learn much about that evil creature, but that character knows a little bit, and that character knows a little bit, and that character knows a little bit. And it's one that's it's unique. It's unique. It tells a unique twist on a story. Now, maybe it's because I don't see a lot of mysterious stories like that. The only other one I kind of can figure out is Kizumonogatari, which is kind of like, or the Monogatari series on a whole, which is very much kind of like that. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. That's another one that is very much similar to Boogiepop. But Boogiepop is one that I would absolutely recommend anybody who likes light novels to check out. It's unique, it's a lot of fun. The visuals, the artwork is a little bit dated, but it's got a unique charm. It's not your usual kind of stock anime characters that you kind of see in a lot of light novel illustrations. It's one that you kind of, it's a nice unique twist, and come for the story. If anything, just come for the story. Now, what I want to know from you guys is, have you read Boogiepop and would you recommend it to other people? Please try and keep spoilers to a minimum. Personally, I only read volume 1, so I don't want to hear too much, but would you recommend it to other people? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for coming, and thanks again for staying. Goodbye.